Cool, guys. How are we doing? Welcome to the round table. I've got a group of guys who have given up their own time to come on board here and just come and talk to you about their journeys. I think this is a really important phase of the process, is to actually meet guys that are actually doing this for real, who have actually invested time and energy into themselves over a period of time. And we've got a really good mix of guys here. We've got a member of staff, Simon. We've got guys in the elite squad. We've got guys who are in the elite 90, and they've all kind of come in to introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Simon. If you can introduce yourself for me, that would be amazing.
Hey everyone, pleased to meet you. My name's Simon Collins. I've been working with JB now as a client for just over 3 years. And then a few months ago, JB rang me up and said, hey, how do you want to help out? So I'm helping out on a part-time basis now at the Man Coach. So it's been a real journey for me. I've gone from working in a corporate environment to completely changing my lifestyle, and I think we'll go into that in a bit.
Perfect. Straight on to Ian.
Hi, my name's Ian. I've been with JB. I'm probably mid-90. How can you explain it? It's a journey that I wish I'd taken years ago. It gives you clarity, gets rid of brain fog, gives you some self-esteem, gets you to build your character back up to what it probably was 20, 30 years ago, but in a better way. Gets you to lead your life better, and just generally all round makes you a better human being, and who doesn't want that? And one thing that I have discovered is that in the just over 3 months I've been doing it, that you can discover happiness again at our age. It's not that difficult to find. It's just getting guidance to get there. So yeah, that's what I would put forward.
Good man. All right, thank you for that. Craig. Craig, I'll come back to you just because your signal's intermittent there, mate. If you can hear me. Simon, we'll come to you.
Hi, JB. Simon Cadwallader. I've been with JB, the Man Coach, probably off and on over probably 2 or 3 years. I've done 2 28-day challenges. I've done a 5-day challenge. I'm now with JB for 6 months. Each time I did a 28, I thought I could toddle off into the sunset, and I cracked it. And guess what? I haven't. Complacency is the enemy. For me, structure, clarity, accountability, discipline are the biggest things that I get out of it. And having walked away twice in the past, wrongly, happy to admit that, it won't be happening again. This is somebody that I need in my corner. I've just started a new business. I've had 17 years in the corporate world, so I need James in my life more than ever now, and it's a good job he lives 4 hours away, because I'll probably be camped outside his house otherwise. So. Me.
It's exciting for you, mate. It's exciting. Craig, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Here he is. So yeah, go for it. Introduce yourself, dude.
Yeah, so Craig Simpson. I've been with JB now nearly 2 years. I'm part of the elite squad. I was in a bad place. I was in a really bad place before I met JB. I was at the point I couldn't leave the house. That's where I was at. And I came from big business, high pressure world. The rewards were good, but you turn around, and the big thing for me was my daughter saying, "I miss you, Dad." So I think we don't realise the hole we leave behind. So, and it's getting into that mindset, because I was lying to myself. I was, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. I was just crashing through life, not achieving anything. And coming into it, I started off in a 28-day program, and then was the accelerator program, and then onto the elite squad. It just gives you that accountability. It gives you the tools. It gives you the structure. It gives you the accountability to show up.
Yeah.
That there's somebody there. You've got JB in your corner, and a bit like Ian, I wish I'd been on this program years ago. I missed so much of my life. It's given me my life back, and given me my family my life back.
Love that. Love that. It's all about timing though, right? It's all about the right time, right place.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, you just popped up at that time, and you know, I believe in fate a little bit, and up you popped just when it was at my lowest,
Yeah.
and we've climbed back out of there together.
You have indeed, 100%, 100%. Last but not least, the CEO of Watches Company, Paul.
Hi, JB. I wish I was a CEO.
Oh, no, imagine being a CEO of Rolex. You'd be in your Bentley, wouldn't you, be talking to us?
I wouldn't be sitting here. Yes, I've been with JB off and on, similar to some of the other guys actually, over 3 years now. Done a couple of 5 days. I think I've done a 28-day a couple of times as well now. Again, similarly, sort of coming off, you think you got it now, and you come away from it using the tools, and some of it does stick, but the key point, the key thing that I keep coming back to is the accountability, because you just don't have to do it. I mean, you don't have to do it anyway, but you know, being pulled up on it through the other guys and JB, it just gives you something a bit more to work with. Yeah. And you need it to move forward. Every time I come out of it, the momentum goes, and you end up with, you know, you hear it time and time again, going back to the hamster wheel, and it's just maintaining the status quo, not really going anywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
For me, what's really helped is the whole planning side of it, and it's such a huge part of what we do. It gets me through personal admin at home. It gets me through difficult periods at work. You know, everyone's got different needs, and we saw that on Saturday going to the seminar. It's just about, like, it's those 1% and getting a little bit better, whether it's your fitness, whether it's your career, whether it's your wife, your kids, whatever it is. Yeah, massive help.
Nice.
For me, it's kind of leaving no regrets. You know, I don't want to leave this life with, I could have done a bit better here and a bit better here and a bit better here. You know, you're never going to be perfect, but you can damn well try. Yeah, about being the best.
I love it. I love it. Great intro, guys. So I've got a couple of questions here. These are some of the ones that have been asked by this group, and some that never got answered on the last one. So if you feel like this particular question you want to answer, like I said to you, just throw your hand up. But it's just really getting a bit of an insight. So the first one was, what do you struggle with the most? So I think the way that we can break this down to elaborate on this is, if you can remember, for some of you, obviously Simon, you're going back years, and Craig as well, and like, if you think about the time before you, I guess, were working on yourself and just going through that normal everyday kind of struggle, and then maybe how something has changed through, I don't know, working on your mind, Jim, in here, right? Working on yourself. So has anyone got anything particularly that stands out? Let's go for Ian. You're off mute on you. So kind of like something that you struggle with specifically, and maybe how that's evolved.
Specifically, I would say I got myself, after COVID and a divorce and moving house, and I've got 2 kids, one younger and one older. I think the main thing was, by the time I actually got into my house and settled in, I think physically and mentally, I've got my own business as well, I just felt drained, absolutely drained, and it's really easy to slip back into that pity party. And although I thought I was okay, I was putting on weight, wasn't doing any exercise, being lethargic. I'd wake up in the mornings, I'd roll out of bed to work like a zombie. Work was zombified. There was no get up and go anymore. And it was, I didn't realize until a loved one pointed it out to me how bad I was. And I think straight away, I was like, shit, I didn't realize I was getting this bad. I didn't realize I was as making everybody miserable, which is the last thing that we all want. And again, like the guy said just now, it was literally that evening I sat there and said to myself, I'm going to stop drinking for a bit because I was drinking too much. I need to get my diet sorted. And who popped up on Instagram? Mr. JB. And I went, got nothing to lose. 5-day free, got nothing to lose. And it was the best thing I ever did. And don't get me wrong, you have those anxious moments where it's like, what's he asking me to do? What, to do burpees? I haven't done burpees in like 20, 30 years. But do it. What have you got to lose? then going forward, straight away, the golden hour has been massive to me. I now, instead of rolling out of bed at 10 to 7, I'm up at 5:15. I'll either go, if I haven't got the kids, I'll go for an hour's walk before work. If I have got the kids, I'll do half an hour yoga and 10 minutes meditation and get all my food prep done for the kids for the day and for myself, do the school run, whatever. And then the journal, this has become my Bible. And being self-employed for the last 30 years, I've never really planned anything. And another thing I really struggled with was brain fog. And now writing and planning out your days, why the fuck didn't I do it years ago? Because it has made my life so much easier.
Why do you think you drank so much, Ian? Why do you think you drank so much?
I wouldn't say I didn't drink loads, but I didn't used to drink in the week. If I were to go out with the boys on a Friday, I'd have a few beers. I used to train, I used to do my hiking, I used to do 100-kilometer ultras. And over the last few years, with everything that's gone on personally and with COVID, I just got myself into a pretty shitty place. But my crutch that I go to will be food and booze. So if I have a trauma in my life, as an example, I will hit the booze harder and I will eat to comfort eat. And they're my two crutches that I go to, which are not good, because it doesn't help. It just makes you more miserable and makes you more lethargic. And when you get over it, it numbs you for a little while, but it doesn't numb you for long, because when you wake up in the morning with a hangover, you feel like complete and utter shit. Whereas now I'll wake up on a Saturday morning, I'll go for 10-mile hike over the Seven Sisters and feel amazing. It's like doing the golden hour. You wake up, you get out, you do it, you come home, you get ready for work, your journal's done, and by the time you walk out that door, you feel alive rather than like a zombie.
Yeah.
I can't tell your guys that have done the 5-day or the 28-day or whatever to extend this further, but I'm mid-90 and I don't really see why I would do anything else now apart from stick with JB. Because the other thing as well is like you say, the accountability. You know damn well that if you're not pulling your weight, like I hadn't done my modules because I didn't realise, you get a foot up your ass and you're told in no uncertain terms to get on and do it. And that's not for JB's sake or for John's sake or Simon or any of them. It's for your sake. But to have that accountability of someone that's got your back and say, come on, sort this out and get it done, I think we all need it. And at the seminar last week, just blew away.
Yeah, well, we spoke about it last week. I'm just looking at the board from last night's talk on priorities. I don't know if you guys remember. We took the priority triangles from when you did your 5 days, and wanted the second to last one there was accountability, in terms of when we don't have anyone holding us accountable, we always take the easy road, always, you know. And I think Simon alluded to in his intro that he's done a couple of 28 days. I think a couple of people, like, people keep coming back to the 5-day over and over again. It's like they're good for 5 days, they're good for maybe half the week after the 5 days, and we go straight back to the old way of living, right? And and you either look at it two ways. That I think when you get to a certain stage, this week is a real eye opener for a lot of people. And by the way, this is like, in terms of this course, 75% of people haven't shown up already at all, even from the start. And you think that's nearly 400 men. 400 men have missed this opportunity to show up, and in terms of maybe save their marriage, stop their drink, like all the things that we briefly only touched on here. And if you had some form of accountability where I was going, where are you, or what you're doing, or you had a system that was within a system on a platform that allowed people to say, right, I have to be here to show up, it suddenly changes the game, right? So because we don't have accountability, we don't see clearly the priorities. When we do, we're working on ourselves, and it unravels what you called the brain fog, which it kind of makes it all become clear, and you see the bigger picture, which is really good. Mate, thank you for that answer. That's great.
No worries.
Craig, you got your hand up. Let's go with you on this one, and then we'll go to the next question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short. I mean, the biggest thing for me is positive mental attitude. So my whole attitude to life. I was spiraling out of control. I was a horrible bastard. I'm being honest.
Why was you spiraling, mate?
Yeah, well, I had the health issues that obviously you know about. So yeah. I was in a very stressful job. I was just angry all the time. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't progressing my career. I didn't think it was going the way it should. I was coming home, I was taking it out on the kids, I was taking it out on the wife. I had my whole life round the wrong way. I was no, work was my number one priority. I was doing crazy hours. Then we started getting health issues, and I just wasn't getting anywhere. I know I wasn't making any traction, wasn't getting any of the right treatments. But instead of kind of sitting back and looking on it and reflecting, gratitude is my biggest thing. That's my Bible every morning. I look at it. No, hey, look, your tomorrows are no given. Tomorrows are no given, guys. They really aren't.
What does gratitude bring for you though, mentally? Like if you think about like that mental stimulation,
yeah.
What does it bring for you?
It brings clarity and calmness. It is the big thing. It's made me refocus what's important in life. No, and it's one of the things, I know you've said it, and you've got multiple examples. No, you have these lifetime events, whether it be health or something like that, and then you start to actually look at what's important in life. So the whole structure, it gave me that clarity was the big thing. It gave me all of that back. And it's not that, ask your loved ones. No, my wife just commented the other day, when I started this journey, the difference was remarkable. No, I was achieving things. I was getting little things like getting stuff done about the house that I kept on promising.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I wasn't believing you because you kept on promising and never delivering.
Yeah.
So it was that whole clarity, the planning, the ability, even to focus on work. So the kill zones in work for me was the big thing. So my productivity in work increased. I'm now in a career. I'm now in a job that I love. I won't retire right here. I've now got the treatments that I was getting. I mean, it was the back in the ambulance. It was like a bit of an epiphany. And you're back in the ambulance, paramedics are working on you, and you think, nah, this is not going down here. And that's what it gave me. It gave me that mental strength.
Yeah.
Because before I was waiting for the next event, and I was like, no, it's not going down here. and it's remarkable how people then engage with you, because my attitude's changed dramatically. Knowing the gratitude and being thankful for this. Hey, my arms and legs are working. I'm luckier than some people. And the paramedics remarked on it, and then it was just that I noticed the difference in how people then interacted with me. I noticed the difference, but then I managed to get the treatment. And this was just the whole way that I had changed my outlook and changed my thought process. I was in control of my life rather than my life in controlling me.
Yeah, I like it. Nice. I like that. And I think that's really important to understand as well. It's like coming up for air. So like where you are, right? You've worked with me for years, right? And being an elite squad. So for those that are watching, the elite squad is our like most pinnacle program. So it's like a small group of guys. And it's like the highest level of working with me, bar being business owners and the business mastermind. But so you get that, you've had that more attention to detail in terms of what you're trying to achieve. And what I call that is kind of coming up for air. So many of the lads listening right now who are on the 5-day, remember, if you've been following through it, I spoke about being at chapter 1 or 2, like Craig, you're like chapter 200, I'm at like chapter 800, and like we're all at different levels of awareness. And as we go through the chapters of a life, those awareness bubbles become, so, the way that you're talking, if you 200 chapters ago, you wouldn't have seen all of that or understood all of that. And that's what you have to go through. And that, what I call is a process of elimination. So you're eliminating all of the things that are not good for you and actually rebuilding the things that are. And that is in theory, that 1% that I speak about all the time, chipping away. And you're like, fuck, I get it. Cool. Yeah. All right, next question.
Yeah, great example, because that's exactly how it is. It just all clicks at different parts. That's clicking.
100%.
Yeah. Excellent.
100%. Cool. So I'm going to get Simon to answer this one first of all. For or any of you have done the 5-day, I don't think there's anyone that hasn't done a 5-day, have they? You've all done the 5-day?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the main difference between where you were in your life before the 5-day and I think what he's asking is compared to where you are now. So in terms of, I'm not sure what he's asking there fully. So he's asking, I think, like where you were with your life right before you joined the 5-day and where you were after the 5-day, basically. So I think for you, Simon, it might be slightly different because you went on to the program, right? So the reason I picked you is because I think you mentioned you've done a couple of the 28 days, and the 28 day has evolved dramatically, actually, I think, since some of the last ones that you did. But where was your life before you joined the 5 day? What made you join the 5 day?
Yeah, look, try and keep it short, conscious of time. Just not happy. No direction. Bit like what Ian said, drinking too much, probably not eating too much, but I've always had an issue with not exercising enough, and probably still enjoying weekends like I'm 23. Which from time to time, you can, but I'm not Peter Pan as much as I try and kid myself at times. So I look at Facebook, social media, and I was mindful I need to do something. I'd read some books. Don't think I was a great person really at work, responsible for a lot of people, a bit like what Craig was just saying. Just started to doubt myself, question myself, and I suppose sort of thinking that without going to the doctor for that sort of help, but I needed something. There's something missing. So what I was doing just wasn't working, and obviously that's when I met you and I saw you. I remember doing those first 5 days, and I don't get up late, obviously, but thinking, what, this gold now. I've got to get up, I've got to start moving, I've got to post by 9 o'clock that I've done certain things. And that was that direction that was lacking, that bit of structure, that bit of routine, because we've all got the same amount of hours in the day. It's what you do with them. So I don't think it's time management. It's how effective you are in those hours. So I've never been the best planner, JB, probably. I'm great in front of people, running off and doing this and that and everything else, but journal now helps so much. And so I suppose to answer your question, before then, free fall, really lack of structure, discipline, routine, probably motivation, fire and belly going out, probably turned into a bit of a mood hoover. Did the 5 days, which obviously is only 5 days, but it's still a great offer. Give me a snippet, give me a taster, a little hors d'oeuvres, and at that point, do I want some more? And I'd seen enough to think, my God, I found this a real challenge. It's only 5 days, so Jesus, what is 28 days of this going to be like?
Yeah.
But I realised, to end with, that this was putting me out of my comfort zone, and it's like this business now that I'm doing. So it's only when you're out your comfort zone, I believe, that you grow, whether that's exercising, losing weight. There's no point setting a goal. Goals isn't something that you've done before, so my goal shouldn't then be to do another 5 day. Well, why? You've done that. It should be 28 day. So you've got to stretch yourself, and ultimately, what's the worst that can happen? The gains far outweigh anything like that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's really important. I like what you said. Doing the 5 day is out of comfort zone for a lot of the guys, because they have to confront the bullshit, don't they? Like, we have to confront that reality that actually we try to avoid, like that confrontation with yourself in front of the mirror, to be like, maybe I have been a bit of a shit, maybe I haven't been on top of it, maybe I am just lackluster in life, and people are suffering because of it. So I think that's a really good analogy to have. So if you're watching here now, like you're on the 5 day, that's all it is. Realistically, we can't change your outlook at your life in 5 days. It's fucking impossible to rewire it and change. But it is like clearing the fog and seeing it for what it is, and seeing yourself for what it is, to then go, right, okay. Cheers for that, Si. Right, other Simon Collins, let's if you can remember all of that far back.
I was trying to cast my mind back. I think what the 5 day did for me in particular is it just opened up like a world of possibilities, where I was like, hang on a minute, I can't believe I've crawled so far down this hole that I can't see the wood for the trees. And now actually, here's a great chance to really focus and plan on my health, on what I want to do for me personally in terms of personal development. How can I look at my relationships? What's my relationship with myself? What are the good relationships I've got in my life? What are the bad relationships I've got in my life, and how am I going to deal with those? And then importantly for me as well, I was in this classic corporate career jail, and it just gave me this way out, this potential exit. And a lot of that came from how I felt personally. Jay, I was, really worried about what other people would think of me if I left this corporate world. And here I am now in a completely different environment. I'm not in that corporate world anymore. I'm doing a range of work that helps other people. I'm involved with Cubs. I'm involved with the Scouts. I'm a governor at my kids' school. I'm working with you, mate, and all of that stuff gives me real purpose and direction in life. And if it wasn't for the 5-day, I don't think I would really have had my eyes open to that possibility, and I would have just carried on going on the corporate treadmill. Did that give me security in terms of pension, healthcare, all the rest of it? Yeah, absolutely. But it never really focused on what my purpose is on life and what my whys are in life. And that, that's what makes me happy. I was living to work, not working to live. And I've managed to switch that round now. I'd finish by saying that's not easy though. The 5-day is just the start of a journey. It's taken me 3 years to get to this point, and that's all about consistency of showing up. You're going to have these highs and you're going to have these lows, and when you get those highs, now you can recognize, yes, it is a high, and learn how to maintain that. But when you get a low, you learn how to get out of that low a lot more quickly. Yeah. So that bad day doesn't become that bad week, turns into a bad month. So 5-day for me, it opened up my eyes to a world of possibilities.
Yeah. And I just want to back up that flicking the switch thing. That's what we spoke about on the Sunday night on the intro. So if you remember, guys watching us here now, is how quickly you learn to flick the switch in your head, how quickly when you're starting thinking about something and you're talking yourself out of something or talking yourself into something you don't want, is how quickly you can flick that. Paul, I'm going to get you to answer that real quick as well, because I know that you've been in and out of the 5 days, right? You were mentioning been in around on the scene for 3 years or so.
That's right, yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, 5 days, if I think, what was it like beforehand? And, life, personally, life was okay. But it is, I said status quo before, you just got the same things every day, saying the same things, doing the same things. No real sort of development. And then, one of the crucial parts of that 5 days, doing that audit, I think, if I'm right. And, when do you ever sit back and reflect on all these different pillars? Like, where am I? And all of a sudden, you get a little bit of clarity, and it's just that little bit of direction gives you something. Okay, whether it be your health, whether it be your business, whether it be your family, relationships, whatever. You're scoring them and say, okay, well that's a thing there. I've got a better working relationship with my work colleagues than I do with my wife. What's all that about? So all of a sudden you've got a little bit of clarity on what's what. But I think another thing is for me, again, procrastination, like talking the talk, even realizing some of the things that you need to do. You just never bloody well doing them. So a little bit of clarity, writing it down, it's a thing. If you write stuff down, you're more likely to get it done. But a little bit of clarity, some planning, and then some accountability. At the end of that course, all of a sudden, it's just a little bit of a light bulb moment on moving forwards, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like you do it, and it's not rocket science, but unless someone's telling you, it's not that clear really. Doing a 5-day course, at the other end of it, you think, well, I've got all these tools now, and I've done this, and think I can run with this. And yeah, you might have them, but
how long did it last till?
I carried it forward quite a bit, and I use it at work, and I did use it at work. I think I was probably one of the lucky ones, maybe a few months.
Yeah, on average, about a week.
I think it's because I took it to work.
Yeah.
And it was there, and I'm using it, and then it just kind of petered out to nothing.
And I think that's something that we see, like what you're talking about there and what Simon's spoken about there is the thing that we're trying to achieve here is longevity. So like I'm like the 28-day again is the next phase, and then the Elite 90, then it's the next phase, and then the embedding phase, it's the next phase, and there are levels, right? So like any computer game, it gets harder when you go up a level, right? It gets harder, it gets harder, it gets harder. But we've got to start somewhere. Can't literally just go, right, we're going to do it all and try and cram it all in there. Because, you know, for someone who's just coming off the 5-day, you couldn't do the Elite 90. It would be very difficult to do it without having done the Elite 28, because you have to go through the process of the resurrection phase of looking at yourself, of understanding the basics. And then you start learning to plan and building those fundamentals, you know. And I think we all think we can do it. And everybody kind of thinks that they know what to do. But again, I think there's a key word that we mentioned earlier, which was the accountability phase. Accountability, this is a skill set. Like, it is a skill set that we build up, which is going to lead on to the next question here.
Can I jump in, Jay?
Yeah, go.
Just on that point, because I think it's a really important thing. What the man coach provides is community. So within the brotherhood, you're in a community, so you get to see like-minded people going through the same thing. So effectively, you know, you're not on your own, and you see loads of inspirational stories. And that, for me, that's what has carried me through for 3 years. Because if I was stuck in my own little ecosystem doing this, I don't think anyone can continue it on your own. And Jay, I think you'd say yourself, mate, like if you were just doing this, you know, you get a lot out from what people do in the group themselves. You know, you can't do it on your own, and it's that community that keeps you going.
And it is, and you know, when I go on to be interviewed, people always, oh, who's your inspiration? And it's like, you read all those stories in there, it's all the guys that are in there. You look at all of your stories and everything you've kind of gone through. It's like everyone's, like someone said on Saturday, everyone's got a book in them, right? And we're all just writing micro chapters. We're all going through micro chapters, and then we're sharing them with like-minded guys. And sometimes it's fucking tough to go to the pub and you don't talk about these things, but you've got a safe place in there where you can talk about, oh, I'm going through this with my wife, or I feel inadequate here, or I don't feel like I'm being a great parent here, or actually I am doing this really well, and I've broken through. So suddenly we leverage each other off, and you see what someone else has done, and you go, well, if he can do it, I can fucking do it. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think good point, Si, as well. So I'm going to get you all to answer this. These questions are a little bit less in depth, but more, I just want you to the point on how you do it so we can get an understanding. All right. So number one, we're going to start with Craig and we'll fire through real quick. Craig, how do you handle stress? I think Craig might be stuck. So Craig, I'll come back to you. Ian?
How do I handle stress?
You've got 1 minute. You've got to get it out in 1 minute.
For me, if I am stressed, the best thing to do is I'll go for a walk and I'll go through it like you do in the
It just froze. I'm back.
Run through it in your head, and self-diagnose yourself. If it's not, what is it you say? If it's not worth, if there's nothing you can do about it, there's nothing you can do about it. If you can, you process it. What are your P's? I'm on the spot.
Fucking right, you're on the spot. It's a test, huh? But just like, it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just how you deal with stress.
Yeah, just for me, getting out, walking, processing it, moving on from it. You can't drag that shit around with you all day. I know there is one thing that I still struggle with, but that's why we're still on this journey.
Yeah.
I try not to dwell on things because it's not. If you can do something about it, sort it out. If you can't, move on.
Good man.
Going into the bottle is not an answer because it makes everything worse. Overeating isn't an answer. One thing I would say as well is that on the 28th day, for anybody else that's looking at signing up, I lost over a stone in that 28 days. And that wasn't through anything other than stopping drinking, eating healthier, getting some exercise, and just sticking to it and being accountable for it. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks, mate. Paul, straight in.
Yeah, easy one for me is go for a run. I like running, but it's like my meditative kind of go-to thing. But if that ain't available, then because I've got a tendency to react emotionally to stuff, whether it be at work or at home, you know, I've always found it a bit difficult. Is to pause and stop. I know we spoke about this on Saturday as well, but
yeah,
give it 10 seconds, give it a minute, give it a fucking day. Like, I try not to react emotionally when I do. Again, I think someone else said this the other day. Sometimes you do, and just can't, like, stop it. and catch yourself. But yeah, it's reflecting on something and not sweating the small stuff. Yeah. There's some good examples of some really shitty situations that I learned at the weekend, and you know what, my life really ain't that bad when I look at it.
100%.
So don't sweat the small stuff. Just take your time and don't react in the moment. Think it through, talk it through with someone, or go out for a run.
Yeah. Just don't.
So a few different mechanisms there, but yeah.
Si Calderwell.
Write it down. I think if something's bothering me, write it down. Go to bed, don't react. Respond, don't react.
Yeah.
So I believe a lot in not just your journal. I do a lot of writing, affirmations, things like that. So something's worrying me, I'll write it down. I'll read it back to myself. Getting out and about, 5:30 a.m. walk in the rain.
Yeah.
And while I do that, I've done this for a while now. I ask myself 2 questions, not taking people's plight. I think I said this to you, to make myself feel better. But and I understand people have stress. There can be worries, especially in the world. I get it. So I'm not belittling any of those. But have I woke up, or any of us woke up this morning in a war-ravaged part of Ukraine? No, we haven't. And I'm sure you know what that looks like. Not Ukraine, but from your past. So no, I haven't woken up there. Have I woke up? I lost a real good friend of mine to motor neuron disease. Have I woke up this morning in Rob Burrows' body? No, I haven't. So I've got some things to deal with, and some things that are bothering me. Just put it into context. Am I in Ukraine? No. Have I got motor neuron disease? No. Have I got a chance to put it right? Yes. Write it down, process it, and just think of those things.
100%. Really well put. Love it. Thank you, Simon. Other Simon?
Meditation, 10 minutes a day in the morning. Doesn't need to be more than that. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's having any effect, but if I don't meditate for a week, I notice the difference.
Yeah.
And the other one is very different, very similar to other Simon, is RPG, reflection, perspective, gratitude. You know, what's just happened, just reflect on it. Don't answer that day. If it's a work email, answer the next day. Keep things in perspective. Like Simon just said, are you in a war zone? Have you got motor neuron disease? No. And just that, you know, that gratitude element as well. You know, what I'm lucky to be where I am. This is just a small problem. Will there be a million other small problems that come my way? Yeah, absolutely. And let's just deal with it and crack on.
Man. Craig, are you back with us? We got you?
Yeah, as soon as I try to come off mute, it doesn't like it. It's always Zoom. Yeah, I mean, I missed the question, but I think I can get the gist of it. I mean, how I deal with gratitude.
Stress, yeah.
Yeah, in a word, gratitude. I just look at things, that and my positive mental attitude now that I've got. Now, it sounds dead easy. I am your typical miserable jock. Do you know what I mean? So...
no, you're not. Craig, you're not.
Oh, that plus being an engineer, I always look for the negative, right? And it's just the way my brain was wired, and it's taken me a journey to unwire that. But gratitude, like all the other guys saying, I mean, I have been in the back of the ambulance, I have had paramedics working on me, and you just think to yourself, really, I enjoy even the morning cup of coffee with the wife. You know what I mean? I enjoy the small stuff. I love the mundane, because it's not a given. It really isn't. And you know, somebody cuts you up. So what? What? 10 seconds? You're going to allow 10 seconds to waste the rest of your day? Just not worth it.
Yeah.
And it's just that mindset. As you say, I'm a few chapters along my path, and I just don't let it bother me now.
Good.
I might get angry for a few seconds, and I think, really, it's not doing my heart health any good. Stop it. Let's crack on with life.
I'm going to put you all on the spot now to finish. Again, so I want you to give the guys one piece of advice based on your own experience of working on yourself. I don't want it to be anything about signing up to anything or anything that we do. I just want it to be from you and from your own heart and your own soul and your own practice and your own process and experience. And I want it to be authentic. One piece of advice that you would give to somebody that is halfway through the 5-day challenge, that is maybe just starting to discover there's a better life out there, about something that they can maybe remember and take that into their life. Okay, so Ian, I'm going to come to you.
I'm 3 months in, 2 stone lighter. And my daughter turned around to me the other day, I'm going to get emotional, and said, "I'm proud of you."
I love it.
That's what it's worth. That's what it's about.
Good man. Love that. Soppy bugger.
Yeah, pretty much. That's your fault.
Paul.
I think to summarise, I'm just happier. I'm more content than I've ever been. I think importantly, it ain't an easy process, and you will fall off the wagon every now and again. You will have a crap day. Just get back on it. Just get back on it. Wipe the slate clean, and just keep cracking on. But yeah, happiest I've ever been.
Love it.
Life's still tough, but
Be tougher.
you just got to harden yourself to it and cope with it.
Be tougher.
What you just said there about his daughter being proud of him, like it's that emotional connection. Having one of your kids turn around and say something nice that they've noticed about you is like leaves you on such a high. So I won't go into mine, but yeah, we'll all end up crying on here.
Stop it, Doug.
It's
Stop
great,
it.
yeah.
All right, Simon.
I've got so much more to give. I've got the fire back in my belly. I'm nowhere near the finished article still, but I've got a lot to give. I've taken a path that's really scary, but really good. And I want it. I really want it. And whereas probably about 2 months ago, I'd have thought, well, yeah, I'd like to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy. Well, not now. No, I'm going to leave a legacy.
Like it. Legacy.
Intent, purpose.
I love that. Yeah, and we spoke about that last night. And we spoke, ironically, all these things you're talking about is a common theme breaking out here, right? Doing it, lead you to lead them, for me in as well. And then like leaving that legacy, and then continuous relentlessness, 1% a day. Collins,
I'm going to two bits of advice because I'm greedy. The first one is get up in the morning. Don't tell James you haven't got time because he will get annoyed. Get up in the morning, drink a glass of water, and get yourself outside that front door. We like it cold, we like it raining. That will sort you out, absolutely. And if you don't do the morning routine, stuff tends to fall apart. So that's my first bit. And the second bit is just be kind to yourself. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You are going to fall off a couple of times. Just be kind to yourself and crack on, and you'll get there.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Well said. Last but not least, Craig.
For me personally, I'm back to being the man. I'm the man in control of my life. I'm back to being the husband. I'm back to being the father that I wanted to be. Planning, gratitude is a big thing for me. Planning. Don't lie to yourself. Stop bullshitting yourself. Because believe you me, I look back now and it's the size of the hole that I had left in my family's life was huge because I wasn't showing up. It was massive, and that's been it for me. I've just turned around. For gratitude, planning. Don't bullshit yourself. Show up, because the alternative, guys, isn't nice. It really isn't when you look back and reflect.
100%. So personally, for me, I just want to say a huge thank you to you 5 guys. If you guys are watching, please do put in the comments like what you got out of it. What was the biggest thing that you really got out of our chat here together with these guys? This will be up on a podcast as well, so you'll be able to listen back. But hopefully for you guys, being able to talk about this and being open about your journey really only improves your 5's awareness of what you're going through and what you're trying to achieve. And I think a lot of the people that we interview, like next year, we're going to be interviewing all of our clients, every single one of them, hopefully, to build up stories for guys to be able to listen to, because you guys, for me, are the inspiration to the guys that haven't yet started, and then you'll get to a point, where you're almost ready to be at that coach level, and then you've got people coming through and go, I remember listening to Simon or Ian or whoever and going, that really inspired me. I really resonated with that. And it's that constant continuation of progress and learning and development that we learn from each other, don't we? We don't know. This is not, I've always said this is not like, I don't do this for you. I just show you the window. You have to show up. And that's the part of the 2 rules, right? Meet me halfway and show the fuck up. So for a lot of what you do, it's like we just provide the system, we provide the window, you do the work, and it's for those guys who are watching on a 5-day. You can only present the structure, the system, the routine. You actually have to do the work, and it is hard work. You know, Craig, you've been with us, I think, the longest here, or Simon as well. Like you 3 years, and you're still here. There's guys who've been working with me for 5 years that's still in the community, and I said to them on Saturday night, "How come you're still with us?" And he goes, "Because it's family, because it's the way of life, because it's like life without it is just not. There's a hole," and that's almost what we want to get people into. Like, some people are ready after a year and they go off and they leave it, and they don't necessarily need that community like other people need it. So it's just being a part of this process, this movement, as I would call it, that allows men to come in and feel safe and feel confident and feel driven about their futures and their relationships. So, you know, 5 great products and stories and men here who've all built themselves up to be in charge of their lives again and hungry for lives again. It shows you what potential there is. So, boys, I really appreciate you guys. I am going to just stop this live right now. Boom.